history. So that means, sí se puede, se está haciendo, sí se puede. So that means that together, we will make history and elect Kamala Harris president. Vota!
I live in southeastern Pennsylvania, and I am a former Trump voter.
The main reasons why I won't support Donald J. Trump for president again starts with his chaotic behavior.
He doesn't care about me. He doesn't care about my family. He doesn't care about working people.
34 counts, felony counts that he was found guilty of. That's not who we want running our country.
Trump scares the hell out of me.
2024 will be the first time that I have not voted for a Republican.
I will be proudly voting for
Representative Tom Suozzi.
I'm Tom Suozzi, and early this year, I flipped the seat from red to blue. My father came from Italy as a boy. He was the first kid in the neighborhood to go to college. He served as a navigator during World War II, came home, and at 28 was elected the youngest judge in the history of New York State. What a country. The immigrant experience, e pluribus unum, out of many, one. My family's experience, Kamala Harris's experience, the American experience. That's why the polarization on immigration is so painful. Let's be clear, the border is broken. But this year, when Democrats and Republicans worked together to finally write new border laws, we were blocked. We all know who sabotaged us. We reject the divisiveness. We reject the dysfunction. We reject the deception. My Italian grandfather used to toast new couples. He'd say marriage sometimes is hard, but in the end, non ci sono rose senza spine. You can't have the roses without the thorns. You have to work for it. To be a nation of immigrants is hard sometimes too. You have to work for it. Tonight, we celebrate the roses of life. We come together from every state, from every ethnicity, from every race and religion. We come together tonight to celebrate our candidate, Kamala Harris, who knows America is worth it, who knows this nation, built by immigrants, is a rare and beautiful thing, and who joyfully accepts the challenge to work across party lines, to secure our border, to treat people like human beings, and to move our country forward.
one reason here of the many of why I'm voting for Vice President Kamala Harris and Governor Tim Walz. I want to keep what President Biden started with the infrastructure plan and getting this country moving.
Because of these investments into our country, it has put people like me, young people like me, Gen Zers, into work in the trades, working on electricity, carpentry, you name it.
The Inflation Reduction Act and the infrastructure bill had the biggest impact on climate change.
It's going to give us the opportunity to electrify our 7,000 square foot facility and go solar in the next 2 years.
If you invest money in infrastructure, you're investing money in the country.
Vote for Harris Walz in November to continue these investments into our country and to grow our country forward.
We should all vote Harris Walz 2024.
Please welcome Cincinnati Mayor Aftab Purebald and Milwaukee Mayor Cavalier Johnson.
Hello, my name is Aftab Purebald, and I am the first Asian American mayor in the great city of Cincinnati. As a Tibetan refugee, my mom believed deeply in the promise of America. And when I was growing up, she and my dad, who is from India, taught me that when you make a promise, you keep it. For years, politicians came through my city and promised to fix the Brent Spence Bridge, which connects Ohio to Kentucky. Donald Trump was one of them. He did what they all do, press conference here, photo op there, but nothing changed until Kamala Harris and Joe Biden. Joe Biden told Cincinnatians, we're gonna fix that damn bridge. And 4 months later, he signed the bipartisan infrastructure law. It gave our city the biggest infrastructure investment in history. It will stitch our communities back together, and it will fix that damn bridge once and for all. That's what leadership looks like. Not hollow promises, but solid progress. Not lip service, but true, honest-to-God public service. And under Kamala Harris, the progress will only continue.
I'm Milwaukee Mayor Cavalier Johnson from the great state of Wisconsin. In Wisconsin, keeping promises is important. So is making amends for your mistakes. One of those mistakes happened 60 years ago in a neighborhood called Bronzeville, brimming with Black music, Black culture, and entrepreneurship. And then came urban renewal and the construction of Interstates 94 and 43, ripping our communities apart. 6th Street was widened and people of color were displaced. Homes destroyed, businesses shuttered, all for a quicker commute. Under Kamala Harris and Joe Biden, we're bringing Bronzeville back. With more green space, bike paths, and walkable streets to serve people who actually live there. The music is coming back. The culture is coming back. And thanks to the bipartisan infrastructure law, the opportunities are coming back. It's now my privilege to introduce two Milwaukeeans who know firsthand the power of reconnecting our communities, Rashawn Spivey and Deanna Branch.
My name is Deanna Branch, and I'm an advocate and mom from Milwaukee. When my son, Aiden, was 2, he was hospitalized due to high levels of lead in his blood. Lead was everywhere, in our pipes, in our paint, and in our soil. President Biden and Vice President Harris passed the bipartisan infrastructure law. It's removing lead pipes from communities like ours. As president, Kamala Harris will make sure everyone can drink clean water and be, in Aiden's words, lead-free superheroes.
My name is Rashawn Spivey, the owner of Hero Plumbing in Milwaukee. When President Biden and Vice President Harris announced their goal to replace every lead pipe in America, Hero stepped up to help make that vision a reality. We went to work replacing lead pipes that served homes and child care communities or child care centers in our communities. Since then, we've replaced more than 1,000 pipes. That was made possible thanks to Vice President Kamala Harris. And when she visited Milwaukee 2 years ago, I got to show her our work up close. Because of her leadership, I've grown my business and helped kids like Aiden have safer, healthier lives.
Vice President Harris came and visited my restaurant. She understands immigrant-owned businesses. She understands women-owned businesses.
She understands the important role of small businesses and sees business owners not just as the backbone of our economy, but as community leaders.
She has a proven track record of advocating for policies that support small businesses and push for economic equity.
The sueño americano está vivo. The American dream is alive.
The last 4 years have been positive, and we've experienced growth. I am truly excited to have Kamala Harris as a presidential candidate.
In this election, we have another opportunity to prosper, to connect, and to unite under the American dream.
I'm proud to support her for president because I believe she will lead us to a brighter future.
Please welcome Delaware Representative Lisa Blunt Rochester.
I'm Lisa Blunt Rochester, mother, grandmother, and congresswoman, and hopefully the next senator from the great state of Delaware. The proud home of President Biden. We love you, Joe. In Delaware, we know that when small businesses thrive, communities thrive. We know that when our roads and our bridges are strong, communities are strong. When everyone has a fair shot at a better future, America is limitless. Now, Democrats, we know this, but you know who doesn't know it? Donald Trump. He has, with his friends, said the quiet parts out loud, but not only said them out loud, he wrote a book about it. What's it called? Project 2025. So with so much on the line, we've got to turn our biggest challenges into our greatest and brightest of hope. For me, Bright Hope was the name of the church that my grandmother attended for 70 years in Philadelphia. It's not just a name. It's how I approach my life. It's how I'll lead as Delaware Senator. And it's how Kamala sees the future of America. Now, there are some who think our politics are too broken for Bright Hope. But if you want to see hope, just look. Bright Hope is record numbers of Black and brown entrepreneurs starting businesses. Bright Hope is an opportunity economy where we invest in our communities and build affordable housing. Ladies and gentlemen, Bright Hope is Madam President Kamala Harris, are you ready for bright hope? Are you ready to fight for our freedom? Are you ready to flip the House, protect the Senate, and send Kamala to the White House? Then let's go!
Wow. Wow. Oh my gosh. Lisa Blunt Rochester, know that name. Know that name. My friend, my sister, and soon to be our senator. I can't wait to work with her in the Senate. But next, we're going to hear more about the ongoing fight for reproductive freedom. This is a fight that affects every single American, no matter where you live, so-called blue states or red states. If Donald Trump has his way, he's going to push through their extreme agenda. Project 1825. I'm sorry. I roll that back. I got that wrong. Project 1925. Oh, I'm sorry. Project 2025. That poisonous agenda where every single state will be in a state of crisis. So let's hear more from leaders who are fighting back.
Freedom means unity.
Caring for others.
Being able to feel safe.
For all to be equal.
Live my life.
Freedom means my choice.
IVF.
Please welcome New York Representative Grace Meng.
Generations of women fought for our rights. Our right to vote, our right to financial independence, and our right to reproductive freedom. Our mothers and grandmothers marched for us. Because of them, my husband and I were able to choose if and when to start a family. And we have 2 energetic boys running around at home. Now it is our turn to take the torch for our children and grandchildren. All across our country, women are being denied life-saving health care and the right to determine their futures. And a second Trump term will be even worse. He will not stop at banning abortion. He'll let states track pregnancies. He'll put birth control and fertility treatment at risk. Trump's plan is cruel, it's dangerous, but it is not inevitable. Tonight, we mobilize for Kamala Harris. November 5th, we move forward with Kamala Harris because we are not going back.
Please welcome Colorado Governor Jared Polis.
Tonight, let's talk about freedom, including our most intimate freedom, choosing when and if to have children and have a family. And let's talk about Project 2025, Donald Trump's roadmap to ban abortion in all 50 states. Look, that sounds crazy, but right here on page 562, it says that Donald Trump could use an obscure law from the 1800s to single-handedly ban abortion in all 50 states, even putting doctors in jail. Page 486 puts limits on contraception. Page 450 threatens access to IVF. On page 455, Project 2025 says that states have to report miscarriages to the Trump administration. Page 451 says the only legitimate family is a married mother and father where only the father works. You know what? I'm going to take that one out. I'm going to put that in my pocket so I can share it with undecided voters so they better understand what's at stake this election. Project 2025 would turn the entire federal government and bureaucracy into a massive machine. It would weaponize it to control our reproductive and personal choices. Look, as a Redditor, gamer, entrepreneur, and Swiftie from the free state of Colorado, I'm excited by Kamala Harris's vision for protecting and expanding our personal freedom, internet freedom, and economic freedom. Democrats welcome weird, but we're not weirdos telling families who can and can't have kids who to marry or how to live our lives. These Project 2025 people, like Trump and Vance, are not just weird, they're dangerous. They want to take us backwards, but we aren't going back. Like ever, ever, ever. Let's stop Project 2025 and elect Kamala Harris president this November.
Please welcome Florida Representative Debbie Wasserman Schultz.
As a proud Floridian, I bring you a cautionary tale. For the people of my state, Project 2025 isn't just a threat. It's a reality that we battle every day. From the classroom to the emergency room, Governor DeSantis turned Florida into a testing ground for the right's most egregious, dangerous policies. I can tell you firsthand, it's been devastating for families in my district and across the state. Today in Florida, state policy requires that kids are taught racist lies about so-called benefits of slavery. Books are banned. Teachers are censored. And our LGBTQ+ community endures endless state-sponsored hate. Even a cruel "don't say gay" school law. Today in Florida, as we grapple with record heat and rising seas, extreme MAGA Republicans deleted mentions of climate change from state law. Today in Florida, a near total abortion ban endangers women's health and their lives every day. I keep thinking about a Central Florida woman I met named Deborah, and at 23 weeks pregnant, she got news every future parent dreads. Her baby's kidneys never developed. Doctors told her that not only would her baby not survive, her own health was in danger. Deborah couldn't get the care she needed in Florida, and she couldn't afford to travel hundreds of miles to get it. She had no choice but to carry her son Milo to term, only to watch him die in her arms 2 hours later. This is Project 2025 in practice. It's what Donald Trump and J.D. Vance want for the whole country. But we're not going to let it happen, are we? Now, I say this as a Floridian, but also a mom and an American. We can't let them do to America what they did to Florida. Are you with me? So let's fight like hell to elect Kamala Harris, the next president of the United States of America. Thank you so much.
Please welcome Chair of the Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee, Susan Del Bene.
Hello, Democrats! It is my honor to represent the great state of Washington and to lead the House Democrats' work to take back the majority. As I travel the country, I hear the same thing. People want governance that works. They don't want tax cuts for the ultra-wealthy, not a national abortion ban, or more chaos and dysfunction, or blind loyalty to Trump. In other words, they don't want Republicans in charge. We're here because we need to elect Vice President Harris and Governor Walz. And giving them a Democratic Congress is how we turn promises into progress. A Democratic majority means lowering costs and growing the middle class, expanding the child tax credit and making it permanent, protecting reproductive freedom. And yes, a Democratic House means Speaker Jeffries will certify the 2024 election. We need just 4 more seats to take back the majority. The good news is we have fantastic candidates in winnable districts all across the country. In battleground states like Michigan and Arizona, in blue states like New York and California, and even in states like Iowa and Nebraska. And we're going to make history by picking up a seat in the state where I was born, Alabama. In 2022, we came within 7,000 votes of the majority. So it's within our power to win these critical races. This election is about our rights, our freedoms, our democracy, and our future. So let's get out the vote. Let's take back the House. Let's make Hakeem Jeffries our next speaker. And let's send Kamala Harris and Tim Walz to the White House. Thank you.
Please welcome Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellison.
Friends, I'll never forget when I first saw the video of the murder of George Floyd. I was heartbroken. I was angry. And that morning, my phone rang. And on that line was Governor Tim Walz. Tim Walz felt the exact same way I did. And a few days later, Tim appointed me to prosecute Floyd's murder. Almost a year after that, minutes after the guilty verdict came down, my phone rang again. And it was Vice President Kamala Harris calling to congratulate my team and the work. Now, Kamala and Tim, they understand the legacy of George Floyd. No one is above the law, and no one is beneath it. No one is outside the circle of our compassion. In the Republican Party, everyone thinks they're above the law. Hell, nearly a dozen of their own lawyers are facing serious charges. Even their lawyers need lawyers. These con artists are trafficking in the defective goods of division, exclusion, and fear. And friends, selling defective goods is a scam. And like Kamala Harris, I am an attorney general. And attorney generals know what a scam is when they see it. Like my friend Tish James, for example, from New York. America, we won't be scammed again. We're not going back, we are going forward. And Kamala Harris and Tim Walz are ready to lead us there. I've worked side by side with Tim Walz for 18 years. His office is right across the hall from mine. And I've seen him deliver for the people of the state of Minnesota every day. Everybody knows Minnesota is one of the best states to live in, to raise a family, to do business, and we've got the best voter turnout in America. Facts. Kamala and Tim, they fight for the people, and they also listen. And when they say we need a ceasefire and an end to the loss of innocent lives in Gaza, and to bring hostages home, they're listening, friends. They agree with us. There are people watching tonight, and maybe even here tonight, who aren't sure yet about Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. If you want to know where they stand on some of the most urgent issues facing our country and the world, let me assure you, Kamala and Tim hear you. They listen. They care, and everyone is included in their circle of compassion. They believe that everybody counts and everybody matters. Let's put a stop to the scam of Donald Trump once and for all, and let's put Kamala Harris and Tim Walz in the White House. Let's go win.
Have you ever discussed Special Counsel Mueller or his investigation with anyone?
Could you repeat that question?
Has the president or anyone at the White House ever asked or suggested that you open an investigation of anyone? Yes or no, please, sir? Seems you'd remember something like that.
I don't know.
Please answer the question.
Senator, I think I've answered the question.
No, you've not.
I'm not able to be rushed this fast. It makes me nervous.
Can you think of any laws that give government the power to make decisions about the male body?
I'm not thinking of any right now. In my, never mind.
Let's move on.
Okay.
Please welcome Michigan Attorney General Dana Nessel.
Hello, Chicago. I'm Michigan Attorney General Dana Nessel. Let me tell you, being Attorney General is a tough job, right? But as California's Attorney General, Kamala Harris never shied away from a good fight. She's held accountable environmental polluters, sexual abusers, and transnational gangs. But what really stands out is when she stood up and protected her constituents' freedoms. In 2011, she refused to defend California's ban on same-sex marriage. She refused to argue that some families should have fewer rights than other families. It meant a lot. She was fighting for families like mine. Now, in 2022, I faced a similar situation when, after Roe v. Wade was overturned, Michigan's archaic abortion ban was resurrected. But Vice President Harris had my back, and she reminded me that protecting people's lives and defending their rights is our job. And just as the same-sex marriage ban was overturned in California, so too was the abortion ban in Michigan. By the way, I got a message for the Republicans and the justices of the United States Supreme Court. You can pry this wedding band from my cold, dead, gay hand. And I'm retaining a lot of water, so good luck with that. Look, I know that whether she's Attorney General or President of the United States, Kamala Harris will always be in our corner. Now, America, you get to be the judge. Do we go back to the corruption, criminality, and chaos of Donald Trump? Or do we move forward with Kamala Harris? We know when she takes an oath to preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution, she's actually read it. We know that she'll appoint Supreme Court justices who will protect our freedoms. And let me tell you, Kamala knows you go from the courthouse to the White House, not the other way around. Ladies and gentlemen, I rest my case.
Wow. Wow. I just want to say thank you, Attorney General Nessel. So coming up, we have John and Rachel, proud, loving parents of 3. On October 7th, their son Hirsch, a U.S. citizen, was at a music festival when Hamas attacked. He was taken hostage, and he is still being held today, an American citizen. Rachel and John want what every parent wants: to hold their child close, to love on them, and keep them safe. I'm honored to introduce the 2 of them tonight.
this moment, 109 treasured human beings are being held hostage by Hamas in Gaza. They are Christians, Jews, Muslims, Hindus, and Buddhists. They are from 23 different countries. The youngest hostage is a 1-year-old red-headed baby boy, and the oldest is an 86-year-old mustachioed grandpa. Among the hostages are 8 American citizens. One of those Americans is our only son. His name is Hirsch. He's 23 years old. And like Vice President Kamala Harris, Hirsch was born in Oakland, California. Hirsch is a happy-go-lucky, laid-back, good-humored, respectful, and curious person. He is a civilian. He loves soccer, is wild about music and music festivals, and he has been obsessed with geography and travel since he was a little boy. His bedroom overflows with atlases, globes, maps, and National Geographic magazines. On October 7th, Hirsch and his best friend, Honor, went to a music festival in the south of Israel. It was advertised as celebrating peace, love, and unity. They also went to celebrate Hirsch's 23rd birthday. As rockets began to fall, Hirsch, Honor, and 27 other young festival-goers took refuge in a 5-foot by 8-foot bomb shelter. Terrorists began to throw grenades into the shelter. Honor stood in the doorway and repelled 7 of those grenades before the 8th one killed him. Altogether at the Nova Music Festival, 367 young music lovers were killed. This was just one of the many attacks on neighborhoods and communities in southern Israel on that terrible day. In total, 1,200 were killed, including 45 Americans. Hirsch's left forearm, his dominant arm, was blown off before he was loaded onto a pickup truck and stolen from his life and me and John into Gaza. And that was 320 days ago. Since then, we live on another planet. Anyone who is a parent or has had a parent can try to imagine the anguish and misery that John and I and all the hostage families are enduring.
Rachel and I are comforted to be back in our sweet home, Chicago. We were both born and raised here, and our families still live here. This is a political convention, but needing our only son and all of the cherished hostages home is not a political issue. It is a humanitarian issue. The families of the American 8 hostages meet every few weeks in Washington. We're heartened that both Democratic and Republican leaders demonstrate their bipartisan support for our hostages being released. We've met with President Biden and Vice President Harris numerous times at the White House. They're both working tirelessly for a hostage and ceasefire deal that will bring our precious children, mothers, fathers, spouses, grandparents, and grandchildren home, and will stop the despair in Gaza. We are all deeply grateful to them. We're also profoundly thankful to you, the millions of people in the United States and all over the world who have been sending love, support, and strength to the hostage families. You've kept us breathing in a world without air. There is a surplus of agony on all sides of the tragic conflict in the Middle East. In a competition of pain, there are no winners. In our Jewish tradition, we say, Kol Adam Olam Umlo'o. Every person is an entire universe. We must save all these universes. In an inflamed Middle East, we know the one thing that can most immediately release pressure and bring calm to the entire region. A deal that brings this diverse group of 109 hostages home and ends the suffering of the innocent civilians in Gaza. The time is now.
Hirsch, if you can hear us, we love you. Stay strong. Survive.
Bring them home.
Now, some of you may have the wrongful impression that I'm about to sing with this man. That ain't gonna happen. But I'll tell you what, I wanna bring you all to a street in Newark, New Jersey called Martin Luther King Boulevard. On that street was this incredible housing project called Brick Towers. We never mistaked wealth with worth. In those towers was a tenant president named Miss Virginia Jones. Her son was murdered in the 1980s in the lobby of one of those buildings, but she was a woman of invincible joy. And I'll tell you this, I used to ask her, how are you so joyful? And she would always tell me, as church woman, she'd say, the joy I have, the world didn't give it to me. Come on now, come on now. She taught me that you've got to generate the joy, that hope is the active conviction that despair will never have the last word. And so tonight, there are so many challenges in our nation. There are so many problems that we're facing. Heck, if America hasn't broken your heart, you don't love her enough. But yet, we will be joyful warriors. We are going to bring back to the journey of our nation joy. And if there's any tradition in America that has helped us to generate that joy, it has been the artists of America. It has been those folks bringing the rock and roll and the funk, bringing the gospel and the hard rock. Well, tonight we are blessed by one of those great American artists that helps us to cleanse our spirits, to raise our hearts, and to bring in that joy. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you one of the true greats in America, someone to bring the joy to this incredible arena, Maren Morris.
If you don't like it, get the hell out. That's what they yell when I open my mouth. A stick is a stick, a stone is a stone, but who's gonna care if I don't? Who's gonna change if I won't? When time turns this moment to dust, I just hope that I'm proud of the woman I was. When lines of tomorrow are drawn, can I live with the side that I chose to be on? Will we sit on our hands, do nothing about it? Or will we leave this world better than we found it? Over and under and above the law, my neighbor's in danger. Who does he call when the wolf's at the door? What would you do? Shouldn't we try something new? We're over a barrel and at the end of one too. When time turns this moment to dust, I just hope that I'm proud of the woman I was. When lines of tomorrow are drawn, can I live with the side that I chose to be on? Will we sit on our hands, do nothing about it? Or will we leave this world better than we found it? America, America, divided we fall. America, America, God save us all from ourselves and the hell that we built for our kids. America, America, we're better than this. When time turns this moment to dust, I just hope my son's proud of the woman I was. When lines of tomorrow are drawn, can I live with the side that I chose to be on? Will we sit on our hands, do nothing about it? Can we leave this
All right, all right. You know what? I'm inspired. Maybe I will sing a song. To Donald Trump, a little B.B. King classic, The Thrill Is Gone. I want you all to know tonight is about joy. American history, our common history, is a testimony to taking on the insurmountable and achieving the impossible. That should bring us joy. Our progress never, ever came easy. But in America, we do hard things. We built labor unions and small businesses. We created great public education and world-changing innovation. We nurtured the best athletes and artists humanity has ever seen, and we kept the promise of Medicare and Social Security for our seniors. Look at who we are. Against bigotry and hate, we advanced equal rights for all Americans. Civil rights, workers' rights, LGBTQ rights, reproductive rights, the right to marry who you love, the right to be free. We did all of this in a way that didn't pit American against American. We did this by healing rifts, by bridging divides, by pulling people together. And all the while, we in this nation lived up to our calling and our creed to be a more perfect union, to make this one nation under God a little more indivisible. Now, you all know this. Trump betrays these ideals. He viciously attacks Democrats and Republicans. His put-downs know no shame. John McCain's military service, Nikki Haley's heritage, women, people with disabilities, trans people, our veterans. He is indiscriminate in his put-downs. His is the politics of smear and fear, not inspiration and elevation. Donald Trump speaks more of American carnage than American compassion. But in America, you can't lead the people if you don't love the people. All the people. Now, our nominees, Kamala Harris and Tim Walz, they bring the joy. Think about it. They're descendants of immigrants, shopkeepers, slaves, educators, people who faced pain with perseverance, people who met hate with love. They are the living dreams of their ancestors. But look in this arena, look around you right now. We are all our ancestors' wildest dreams. Generations who faced impossible odds and that responded to every one of their challenges with that classic American creed, yes, we can. So there are doubters out there. There are people that doubt our collective strength. They want to tell us how bad we are. They want to say that they alone can save us. Well, we know that the power of the people is greater than the people in power. And we're not going to lose our faith. Look, I want everybody in here to let us all say it together. I believe in America. Let me hear you. I believe in America. I believe in America because our elders told us that no matter what the obstacle, like the gospel says, we shall overcome. I believe in America because our soldiers died on beaches and battlefields. They died at sea and in the air so that we could be free today and say together, I believe in America. I believe in America because our fighters fought at Stonewall. Our marchers marched in Selma. Delegates met at Seneca Falls. Every single one of them believed in America, even when America didn't believe in them. Say it with me now. I believe in America because King dared to dream the impossible dream, because Neil Armstrong went to impossible heights, and because when we elect Kamala Harris, there is not a boy or girl in America from any creed, color, or heritage that will ever think being President of the United States is impossible again. Say it with me. I believe in America, the land of hope and heroism. I believe in America, the land of courage and compassion. I believe in America, where we share common ground and common cause and one common destiny. And let me tell you, if you believe in America, if you love in America, then you will work for America. And when we work together, when we stand together, when we organize together, when we vote together, I will tell you this, when we fight, we win. Ladies and gentlemen, Veronica Escobar.
Buenas noches. Like countless Texans, I grew up going back and forth across the border from El Paso to Ciudad Juarez. My family would shop, have dinner, go to the doctor, pick up medicines. The border is my beloved home, the place where my children grew up. Forget what you hear on the news. I'm from there. When it comes to the border, hear me when I say, you know nothing, Donald Trump. He and his Republican imitators see the border and immigration as a political opportunity to exploit instead of an issue to address. Congress hasn't passed comprehensive immigration reform in nearly 4 decades. The 3 times they tried, Republicans blocked legislation that would have funded border security and created a more humane immigration system. They are not serious people. You know who is serious? Kamala Harris. I met the Vice President when she visited El Paso. I saw firsthand how she engaged with law enforcement, migrants, and human rights advocates. She was curious. She asked questions. She listened. And she didn't care if the cameras were on. Most of all, she recognized that the situation at the border is complicated, as filled with opportunities as it is with challenges. All Republicans have to offer is demonization and bluster. Democrats have solutions. With Kamala Harris as president, we can live up to the promise of America. We can strengthen legal pathways to immigration. We can secure our borders, and we can treat with dignity those who seek a better future within them.
I have a question for you. Who really wants a solution at our border?
Our administration worked on the most significant border security bill in decades. Some of the most conservative Republicans in Washington, D.C. supported the bill. Even the Border Patrol endorsed it.
And that bill included thousands of new border agents and personnel, new technology that can detect and stop fentanyl, more judges, and faster asylum processing. For the first time in decades, a chance at a real bipartisan solution.
But at the last minute, Trump directed his allies in the Senate to vote it down.
They're blaming it on me. I said, that's okay, please blame it on me, please.
He tanked the bipartisan deal because he thought it would help him win an election. Which goes to show Donald Trump does not care about border security. He only cares about himself.
The real difference is...
I was the Attorney General of a border state. In that job, I walked underground tunnels between the United States and Mexico on that border with law enforcement officers. I went after transnational gangs, drug cartels, and human traffickers that came into our country illegally. I prosecuted them in case after case, and I won. So here is my pledge to you. As president, I will bring back the border security bill that Donald Trump killed, and I will sign it into law and show Donald Trump what real leadership looks like.
Please welcome Connecticut Senator Chris Murphy.
So, I just want to let you know, that everything that you just saw in that video, that's exactly what happened. I know because I was the Democratic senator who negotiated that bill to secure the border with President Biden and Vice President Harris. I want to tell you this as well. Donald Trump's allies weren't just in the room. They helped us write the whole bill. It was a bipartisan bill. It was a tough bill. $20 billion in new border security, gave the president the emergency power to shut down the border, made compassionate but serious reforms to our asylum system. One Republican said it would have had almost unanimous support if it weren't for Donald Trump. Trump killed that bill, and he did it because he knew that if we fixed the border, he'd lose his ability to divide us, his ability to fan the flames of fear about people who come from different places, right? You guys know this, right? Hate and division, that's Trump's oxygen, right? People like Trump and J.D. Vance, they need it to survive in politics. People are saying that they're weird, that they're creepy, and they are weird, they are creepy. But even worse, they're weak. Kamala Harris is not weak. For 20 years, Kamala Harris has been tough as nails when it comes to securing our border. When she was a California prosecutor, she went after drug smugglers, human traffickers. She put 100 gang members away in a single sweep. Trump says that a safe nation can't be an immigrant nation. That's flat wrong, and Kamala Harris knows it. She knows this too. Engraved on the Statue of Liberty is a poem. The last line reads, "I lift my lamp beside the golden door." For generations, that lamp has called people to start a brave new life in America. My ancestors, your ancestors, and the parents of the next president of the United States of America. Kamala Harris knows that we can be a nation of proud immigrants and a nation of strong immigration laws. That's why when she's president, she will bring that border bill back, and Kamala Harris is going to pass it. How do I know this? Because in this race, there is only one candidate who has ever been willing to do the worthy, redeeming work of making our country better, of recognizing that we do not have to choose between celebrating our heritage and enforcing our laws, right? The beautiful thing about America is that we can be both. We can be a nation of immigrants who love their country and a nation with a secure border. And there is only one candidate. There is only one candidate who can deliver that vision of America, and it's Kamala Harris. Thank you very much, Democrats.
Please welcome Bexar County Sheriff Javier Salazar.
On the other side of the border, the traffickers, they pack migrants into 18-wheelers like cattle, 50, 100 at a time. Then they seal the doors. That's when the 911 calls come. We hear them, desperate, terrified, gasping for air. Now, sometimes we get there in time. Sometimes, despite our best efforts, we can't. When Donald Trump comes down to Texas, stands next to officers in uniforms just like mine, he's not there to help us. Don't think that, not for a second. He is a self-serving man. I mean, look, just like when he killed the border bill, he just made our jobs harder. Now, Kamala, on the other hand, has been fighting border crime for years. She's gone down to Mexico and worked to stop the traffickers. And when the traffickers didn't stop, she put them in jail. Now, down in my neck of the woods, we call that fooling around and finding out. I may be paraphrasing a bit. We protect them. Now, the border sheriffs that I know, right, and we're like Kamala. We protect and serve. We enforce the law. We show compassion. And we fight like hell to protect our border. Because as we've always known in Texas, cuando luchamos, ganamos. When we fight, we win.
Please welcome California Representative Pete Aguilar.
I'm Pete Aguilar, chair of the Democratic Caucus. For 4 generations, my family has called California home. I grew up in San Bernardino, a working-class community defined by family, faith, and hard work. These values, shared by Latino families across this country, are what made my family's American dream possible. And only Kamala Harris and Tim Walz will protect the American dream so that every family can earn a living, own a home, and reach their full potential. This is a vision for America that Donald Trump will never understand. All he knows is chaos and division. He talks about tearing American families apart, pitting neighbor against neighbor, community against community. Compare that to what Kamala Harris has done as vice president. Almost 500,000 people who live here and are married to a U.S. citizen can now apply for lawful permanent residents. DACA recipients who graduated college have easier access to work visas. And we would have much more security at the border if Donald Trump hadn't tanked the bipartisan bill. Folks, we don't have to choose between a secure border and building an America for all. Under President Harris, we can and will do both. As a prosecutor, she took on transnational gangs and cartels. As president, she will fight for pathways to citizenship. And I can tell you, as the highest-ranking Latino in Congress, our community understands the stakes in this election because we believe in the promise of this country. We believe our nation is stronger when we keep families together. We believe our union is more perfect when dreamers become doctors, teachers, construction workers, and military service members. Latinos believe in that American dream and a brighter future. One where we secure our border, fix our broken immigration system, and unlock economic opportunity for all. And together, we will win. Thank you.
I'm a Filipino-Japanese DACA recipient.
I am a third-year medical student, and I am a DACA recipient.
Thanks to DACA, I've been able to open up my own business and represent clients as a lawyer.
So many of my dreams came a little bit closer.
It is disheartening to know that the court system may end DACA next year, and to also hear Donald Trump calling for mass deportations.
It is time that we recognize dreamers for who they are. We are contributors to this great nation.
I support Vice President Harris, who has continued to fight for DACA recipients.
She was the one who stood with us, who sat with us, who heard our stories.
We need a future President Harris to ensure that dreamers like me can continue to work and provide for ourselves, our communities, and our families.
Please welcome United States Marine Corps veteran Carlos Eduardo Espina.
Buenas noches, mi gente. My name is Carlos Eduardo Espina. And if 2 decades ago, when my parents immigrated to College Station, Texas, you told them that one day their son would reach 14 million followers on social media, graduate law school, and speak at the Democratic National Convention, they might not believe you. But this is the United States of America, the land of opportunities where anything is possible. I know this because daily I interact with people who, like my parents, came to America to fulfill the dreams and ambitions that in their home countries were impossible. People who work hard, contribute to society, pay taxes because, yes, immigrants pay taxes, and love this country deeply. The same people Donald Trump wants you to believe are poisoning the blood of our country. This is dangerous, and it is outright anti-American. Because as Ronald Reagan, a Republican, once said, we lead the world because unique among nations, we draw our people, our strength from every country and every corner of the world. Reagan knew that welcoming immigrants is not a Democratic or a Republican value, it is an American value. To be pro-immigrant is to be pro-America. And that's why Kamala Harris understands this too. And that's why, once elected, she will reject hate and find solutions that make our nation stronger. So let's get her elected. Let's get her elected. And ensure that our country remains a beacon of freedom and opportunity for all. Thank you, God bless you, and God bless the great state of Texas.
Please welcome former Homeland Security and Counterterrorism Advisor to Vice President Pence, Olivia Troy.
4 years ago, I resigned from the Trump administration. As a Republican who dreamed of working in the White House, it was a hard decision. But as an American, it was the right one. I saw how Donald Trump undermined our intelligence community, our military leaders, and ultimately our democratic process. Now, he's doing it again, lying and laying the groundwork to undermine this election. It's his MO, to sow doubt and division. That's what Trump wants, because it's the only way he wins. And that's what our foreign adversaries want, because it's the only way they win. As a national security expert, y como latina, y hija de una inmigrante mexicana que realizó el sueño americano, being inside Trump's White House was terrifying. But what keeps me up at night is what'll happen if he gets back there. The guardrails are gone. The few adults in the room the first time resigned or were fired. I grew up in the kind of working family that Trump pretends to care about. Conservative, Catholic, Texan. July 4th was our most sacred holiday. Those values made me a Republican. And they're the same values that make me proud to support Kamala Harris. Not because we agree on every issue, but because we agree on the most important issue: protecting our freedom. So to my fellow Republicans, you aren't voting for a Democrat. You're voting for democracy. You aren't betraying our party. You're standing up for our country. Thank you. Gracias.
Please welcome former Georgia Lieutenant Governor Jeff Duncan.
Good evening. I bring greetings from the great state of Georgia. So let's get the hard part out of the way. I am a Republican. But tonight, I stand here as an American. an American that cares more about the future of this country than the future of Donald Trump. My journey started to this podium years ago when I realized Donald Trump was willing to lie, cheat, and steal to try to overturn the 2020 election. I realized Trump was a direct threat to democracy, and his actions disqualified him from ever stepping foot into the Oval Office again. I could spend my time revving up this crowd, but I'm certain I don't have to talk anybody out of voting for Donald Trump here. So I'm going to focus my attention on the millions of Republicans and independents that are at home that are sick and tired of making excuses for Donald Trump. If Republicans are being intellectually honest with ourselves, our party is not civil or conservative. It's chaotic and crazy, and the only thing left to do is dump Trump. These days, our party acts more like a cult worshiping a felonious thug. Look, you don't have to agree with every policy position of Kamala Harris. I don't. But you do have to recognize her prosecutor mindset that understands right from wrong, good from evil. She's a steady hand and will bring leadership to the White House that Donald Trump could never do. Let me be clear to my Republican friends at home watching. If you vote for Kamala Harris in 2024, you're not a Democrat, you're a patriot. In our family, my wife Brooke and I are raising 3 boys, and we have a family motto. And it says, doing the right thing will never be the wrong thing. During 2020, during just the lowest of lows, when we had armed officers outside our house protecting us from other Republicans, Donald Trump had targeted us. My son came downstairs, and he handed me this coaster that I'd given him years before at a father-son retreat for our church. And he said, hey, Dad, doing the right thing will never be the wrong thing. Stay strong. To my fellow Republicans at home that want to pivot back towards policy, empathy, and tone, you know the right thing to do. Now let's have the courage to do it in November. Thank you, and God bless you.
We will never give up. We will never concede. It doesn't happen. You don't concede when there's theft involved. And after this, we're going to walk down, and I'll be there with you. We're going to walk down to the Capitol, because you'll never take back our country with weakness. You have to show strength, and you have to be strong.
It does look like we're going to have an ad hoc march stepping off here. There's a crowd surge heading east.
Mike Pence, I hope you're going to stand up for the good of our Constitution and for the good of our country. And if you're not, I'm going to be very disappointed in you. I will tell you right now.
We're going to give riot warnings. As soon as the hour is here, we're going to give riot warnings. We're going to try and get compliance, but this is now effectively a riot.
49 hours declaring it a riot.
5 to 50 be advised, they're trying to breach and get to the Capitol.
Hold the order! Hold the order! Hold the order!
We have a breach of the Capitol. Breach of the Capitol to the upper level.
My kids didn't have the courage to do what should have been done to protect our country and our Constitution.
Bring out Pence. Bring out Pence. Bring out Pence.
We can't hold this. We're going to go too many people. Look at this vantage point, man.
We're trying to hold the alphabet. We're trying to hold the alphabet down.
We need an area for the House members. They're all walking over now through the tunnels.
We need to move now.
Copy.
If we lose any more time, we may lose the ability to leave. So if we're going to leave, we need to do it now. We lost the line. We lost the line. All MPD, pull back. All MPD, pull back at the alphabet. ASAP.
H208 with 4 members. The door's barricaded. There's people flooded the hallways outside. We have no way out.
Officers still remaining on the House floor, so we can secure the members on the other side. Copy.
Officers down! Get them up! Get them up!
And if I win, I will be looking very, very strongly about pardons. And I mean full pardons with an apology to many, an apology. They were peaceful people. These were great people. The crowd was unbelievable. And I mentioned the word love, the love in the air. I've never seen anything like it.
Please welcome Mississippi Representative Benny Thompson.
On January 6th, like most of my colleagues, I had one goal: to uphold the votes of the American people, the cornerstone of our American democracy. But as what you just witnessed, let me remind you that the members of that violent mob had another goal. They wanted to stop the peaceful transfer of power for the first time in American democracy. Thank God they failed. Because in this country, we settle our differences at the ballot box, not through violence. It took a long time to get here, and we are not going back. Because I remember that dark history. It's my own history. In this life, my father never cast a vote because of Jim Crow. So I dedicated my career to protecting the votes against violence and discrimination. You can imagine what I felt on January 6th when I saw with my own eyes those insurrectionists trying to take that away. They did it to rob millions of Americans of their votes. They did it because Donald Trump couldn't handle losing. He lied about the election fraud. He called his conspiracy-led mob to Washington. He would rather subvert democracy than submit to it. Now, he's plotting again. His campaign proclaims that elections won't end until the moment of inauguration. We will win or it was rigged. We win or else. This is Donald Trump's America. Elections are about choice. Choose democracy, not political violence. Choose the America we've always taught our children to love. Choose Kamala Harris.
Please welcome former United States Capitol Police Sergeant Aquilino Ganell.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Before I begin, I need to acknowledge the sacrifices that 5 officers who died as a result of January 6 made on that day. My name is Aquilino Ganell. I immigrated to the U.S. from the Dominican Republic when I was 12. I became an American citizen. I was a sergeant in the U.S. Army and a Capitol Police officer. I had seen violence while serving in Iraq, but nothing prepared me for January 6. We officers risked everything to protect innocent people. We were beaten and blinded. I was assaulted with a pole attached to the American flag. President Trump summoned our attackers and sided with them. He betrayed us. When I joined the Army and Capitol Police, I took an oath to defend the Constitution. I did so with duty in my soul, and I still feel it. To Donald Trump, I ask, why don't you? On January 6, I nearly died protecting the Capitol, and I will do it again for our democracy. The way to preserve it is to elect Kamala Harris, our first female commander-in-chief.
Please welcome New Jersey Representative Andy Kim.
When I was a kid, my parents brought me to the Capitol. They taught me that it's sacred ground, a symbol of our democracy. When I got to Congress, I was excited to bring my little boys to the same beautiful building. I asked them, "Do you like the Capitol?" And my oldest son, Austin, said, "I love the Capitol, and lowercase too." They are so sweet. But shortly after, we saw something unimaginable. A mob tearing down flags, assaulting police officers. That night, I walked into the rotunda. The floor was covered in broken glass and garbage, strewn with the chaos unleashed by Donald Trump. And I thought to myself, how did it get this bad? So I did the only thing I could think of. I grabbed the trash bag and started cleaning up. What I learned on January 6th is that all of us are caretakers for our great republic. We can heal this country, but only if we try. Many of you are doing your part through your voices and your votes. Always remember, this chaos that we see, it doesn't have to be this way. As a father, I refuse to believe that our kids are doomed to grow up in a broken America. There is a hunger right now in this country for a new generation of leadership to step up. Let's choose Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. Let's do this for our kids and our grandkids. Thank you.
Please welcome Olivia Juliana.
Hello from a proud Texas Democrat. This November, I'll cast my first vote in a presidential election ever. The fact is, our right to vote is under attack. I've seen it. Long wait lines. People blocked from registering to vote. Texans denied our voice. Donald Trump's Republicans are making it harder for us to vote. But we won't let them get away with it. And Kamala Harris won't let them get away with it either. She's fought for our freedoms. She's fought for our voice. But we will only be heard if we vote. As the saying goes, if you're not at the table, you're on the menu. So Gen Z, let's take our seat in our democracy and cast our ballots this November for Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. And now, ladies and gentlemen, American icon Stevie Wonder.
I love you. I just want to say, I love you. I love you. And every song that I've sang, every song that I've written, it's because of my love for you right here. But this year I've prayed very hard for peace to come to our world's nations, but also to each one of our hearts. Even though our hearts have been beaten and broken, beyond prayer, I know the importance of action, and now is the time to understand where we are and what it will take to win. Win the broken hearts, win the disenchanted, win the angry spirits. Now is the time. This is the moment to remember when you tell your children where you were and what you did. As we stand between history's pain and tomorrow's promises, we must choose courage over complacency. It is time to get up and go vote. Listen, the choice is clear, clearer than anyone else is saying. Did you hear me? Clearer than anyone else is saying. You feel me? We need to choose joy over anger, kindness over recrimination, and peace over war. Every time.
We must choose to be above the ugly words, the hateful anger, and the division those words and anger create. We must keep on keeping on until we truly are a united people of these United States. And then we will reach our higher ground. Are y'all ready? Are y'all ready to reach a higher ground? Are you ready to reach a higher ground? Tell me. I want to hear you again. Are you ready? Are we ready? Because you know we need Kamala Harris. Yes, we do. And we need a great man, as we do have, as a future vice president. You know that. So you know what? I'm depending on you to do, as Spike Lee would say, the right thing. Are y'all ready? Are y'all ready? Are you ready? Mosky, are you ready?
I'm ready, Steve.
Dancers, are you ready?
All right, we need everybody. Clap your hands like this. Everybody clap.